How's everybody doing? Thank you for coming to my channel, Pisces Omega. It's your boy, me, Pisces Omega, and today we're going to continue with our channel ancestor readings, filtered through the influences and energies of the moon. Right now, we have the waning moon traveling through the sign of Taurus. And before we proceed any further, I'd just like to give humble thanks and gratitude. Thank you, Great Divine Mother. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Vast Abundant Universe. Thank you, Divine Beloved Ancestors from all the highest realms. Ashe. Now, what does it mean to have the moon in Taurus? Our safety depends on the need for stability, which is not easy to satisfy right now. We have to learn to accept change as a part of our lives. The basic problem is finding our own self respect in order to ensure that we do not mistakenly seek it in material things. When we accept ourselves for who we are, it will become easier for us to find peace and tranquility in the outside world. Now, during this period, the organs that's influenced by the current Taurus moon is the neck, the larynx, the throat, the vocal cords, the thyroid gland, the tonsils, and the Adam's apple. These organs are now more sensitive, so we should provide them with more care. The moon itself deals with emotions, instincts, roots, the mother, the people. The moon reveals our emotional landscape, what makes us feel safe, nurtured, and emotionally secure. It speaks to our early imprinting, especially through the mother or early caregivers, and shows us how we instinctively respond to life. The moon helps us understand our subconscious needs and habitual emotional patterns, offering a path to deeper emotional self awareness and self care. Now, the third quarter moon, the waning moon, deals with reality checks, revisions, integration, and cleansing. The third quarter moon represents us with a vital moment of reckoning and integration. It's a reality check, a time to look honestly at what has served us and what hasn't, and what needs to be cleansed or revised before moving forward. There is an invitation here to release outdated patterns and bring greater alignment to our thoughts and actions. Revision becomes a sacred act of rebalancing, helping us distill wisdom from experience and prepare for the final stage of renewal. Ashe. I'd like to continue the reading. Get into the reading. We're going to pull some motivational quotes, and I use these quotes to channel direct messages directly from our divine beloved ancestors. Ashe. Let's give these cards a good shuffle. And if you guys want to support the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you guys want a private reading from your boy Pisces Omega, look into the description boxes, get it with my email addresses. Also, if you guys like to donate to the channel and to the cards, also check the description boxes for how you can support the channel financially. Thank you so much. Let's shuffle these up a couple more times. Do it till it feels good. All right, one more time. I'll put a little bit into the left. All right, now let's get a good cut. Nice firm cut. Now let's get into the reading. We are continually faced by great opportunities, brilliantly disguised as insoluble problems. Again, we are continually faced by great opportunities, brilliantly disguised as insoluble problems. Thank you, Great Divine Mother. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Vast Abundant Universe. Thank you, Divine Beloved Ancestors from all the highest realms. Let's pick the quote up And then we're going to get into the moonology. Moonology cards. Okay. Cool. Alright. Let's put these over here. Now let's get into the moonology cards for this moon in Taurus, waning moon in Taurus. Give these cards a good shuffle. Okay, that's feeling good. Let's do it one more time, y'all. And we're going to get into these moonology cards. Awesome, that felt great. Nice little cut. Take out 3 cards. First card, the last quarter moon in Scorpio will reveal what needs to be seen. Full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. And the new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. You know, it's like I keep feeling this Scorpio energy about, you know, going deeper in depth and discovery. You know, the Scorpio energy has just been, and also about transformation. The Scorpio energy has been coming through loud and clear. But let's get into the moonology cards. We had this exact same card when I did the moon in Pisces. Last quarter moon in Scorpio, reveal what needs to be seen. That last quarter moon in Scorpio was talking about, you know, showing what you need to show and not showing too much. Reveal what needs to be seen. Last quarter moon in Scorpio. Let's get into it. There are some things that people just don't like to talk about. Drawing this card suggests there is an issue or situation in your life right now that might not be easy to air, or perhaps you feel that you shouldn't air it. That's fine. Now is the time for you to reveal only what you want to be seen. Don't feel the need to discuss everything with everyone. Some matters require discretion. The less codependent you are, the better chance you have of getting what you want. Manifesting mix. There are 2 forces at play here, and neither wants to budge. Strong is good, stubborn is a problem. The manifesting mindset. When you no longer feel the need to tell everyone what you're manifesting, you are ready to start manifesting. Ashe. Reveal what needs to be seen. Practice discretion. Maybe some of us might be just revealing a little too much of ourselves, and it's important for us to practice discretion. Ashe. Let's get into the full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer. Let your fears dissolve. Fear and neediness may now be at play. Fear is debilitating, while neediness isn't usually very attractive. Acting out of fear is a risky response, so if you dwell on your insecurities, what will you manifest what you will manifest is an extension of those insecurities. The reason why we should face our fears is that in doing so, they often simply dissolve. If we don't face them, they can influence us to act in ways we otherwise wouldn't, which means we can end up manifesting the very thing we were hoping to avoid. To see that fear off that's in you, face it now. Manifesting balance. Find a balance between Cancer's overly sensitive and Capricorn's coolness. Manifesting mindset. Facing your fears and working out where they come from will point you in the right direction and get you into the right mindset. Ashe. Again, it's like deja vu. It's like it's the same energy. So it's like this resonation, like the universe really wants us to understand, we cannot live in a spirit of fear. And these are trying times that we're going through right now. So living a fearful existence is not going to help us. It's important for us to what? Face our fears head on. And then with the new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. These seem like these exact same cards from the previous reading. New moon in Scorpio, go deeper. You're regaining control of a situation that cut deep. You move through your fears and can now see where this issue has come from. Now isn't the time to gloss over the facts. Rather, it's time for you to face your darkest concerns and go deeper. Your situation may need to crumble before it can be renewed. Magic is called for. It's crucial to stay strong now. Sexually, it's time to reach for true communion with your partner. Financially, this is a blessed time to work with someone on a joint venture. It's time to release a grudge. Manifesting focus. This card is especially good sign for matters related to sex, money, or obsessions you have been grappling with. In the manifesting mindset. Know that you are magic. Clear out negativity to supercharge your manifesting powers. Thank you, Great Divine Mother. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Vast Abundant Universe. Thank you, Divine Beloved Ancestors from all the highest realms. Ashe. And now, without further ado, let's get into the reading. But it seems like a lot of us are just harboring old feelings and old fears and uneasiness and unsureness. And it's time to put those fears away and face and stand up and face our problems and our fears head on. Okay. Now let's get into the playing cards. I practice a form of tarot, which is Cartomancy, the original tarot, the magic squares, and I use the 52 card poker deck, including the 2 jokers, that gives me a complete set of 54 cards. Give these a nice shuffle. Ooh, it feels good. Okay. Last one, y'all. And let's get a nice little cut. Get a little lighting situation back up. All right. Without further ado, let's get into the reading. threes. Three of spades, the first card. See, spades off the bat deals with negativity, problems, challenges, failures, illness, loss. That's what the suit of spades deals with. And the three of spades deals with things. The threes deal with growth, small growth. You understand? But this three of spades deals with loss. Third parties interfering. With our affairs and things of that nature. Three of spades, and this is Taurus energy. This is definitely Taurus energy. Three of spades is fixed earth. Taurus energy. You understand? This is Taurus energy right here. You see, you got the three swords. One crossing the one. And it's like, it's like we have a decision to make, but we have an indecision with the decision we have to make, And the three of spades, like I said, is all about a third party interfering with our life. This is little problems building up, little aggravations. This is things about lost objects, and things that have been lost. Some of us been losing things, have been losing objects. I have lost some items the last few weeks, things of that nature, you know. This is all about, things that we have lost, This is all about third parties interfering, little problems, things building up, Taurus energy, things that's moving slow. When we're expecting things to grow, we're right in the midst of things to start growing. It seems like, that we're becoming stagnant and things becoming lost. And some stuff that we feel is like very valuable items that we're losing. And it's like it's kind of a hindrance to us, a small aggravation, but more of is a hindrance, but with this three of spades, we're reminded to, we have to move beyond the sorrow. We have to move beyond our disappointment, and we have to understand our feelings. Understand that, hey, these are the small things. These are the small problems. These are small aggravations. You understand? Three of clubs. Again, threes. Threes represent things growing, And see, this is all about things moving forward. We have to move forward. Yes, we've experienced loss. We've experienced small aggravation. We've experienced people interfering in our affairs. Even people helping us after our goods and things of that nature. We've experienced sorrow. We've experienced loss. But the three of clubs, this Aquarius energy now, is speaking about moving forward now. Like I said, things are growing, and the three of clubs represent, as things moving forward, and like slowly, bit by bit, and with practical developments, you know what I'm saying, and we have to take these small steps toward our goals, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes, we got to scale it back, and understand, like, just take 1 foot in front of the other, become stable. Taurus is all about the sign of stability. And what do we read in the moon in Taurus? Taurus is all about our safety depending on the need for stability, which is not easy right now because of the loss of the things that we're going through right now. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, things are growing, but we have to learn how to accept change. We've lost things, and we have to learn how to grow, adapt, and move on. Move beyond the sorrow, move beyond the disappointment, move beyond the things that we've lost, you understand, and allow for things to move forward in our life and let them grow, right now. With this Aquarius energy, and like I said, and moving forward, moving past these things, what I'm saying, our efforts will be rewarded, what I'm saying. We will have success, but first we have to get over these small problems that we're facing, we have to put forth effort, what I'm saying. We got to reveal what needs to be seen, hey, you don't have to share too much, and let our fears dissolve, let our fears dissolve. And then we need just to go deeper and push through, push through. What the quote says, we are continually faced by great opportunities, brilliantly disguised as insoluble problems. We got to turn these negatives around. We got to use our ability to alchemize these things. We got to turn our ability to take these negatives, turn these negatives into a positive. Literally cancel out the negative. Cancel out the negative. And, we got multiple cards off the bat. We got threes, what I'm saying, two threes, but you know what I'm saying, you got the spades going into the clubs, and this is action. We have to have action increase. We got to actively take control. We're gonna move past these problems by increasing our action and actively taking control of our situation. Actively taking control of our situation. You know, and we got multiples already. So let's look into the multiples, two threes. And I know it's like thinking on a higher plane. You know, hold on. Let's get into our multiples real fast. Six of Hearts. See, six is about the plan in the past. We got to put these things in the path. You know what I'm saying? And this threes is about, these two threes is about growing interest in our spirituality. Growing interest. In our spiritual practices. You know what I'm saying? We got to start stepping up our spiritual game. Start being more positive. Start getting more into meditation. Start getting more into clearing our energy. Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Two threes represents like growing interest in spirituality, or religion, and now you got the six of heart. Sixes represent the paths, karma, plans. You know what I'm saying? Plans with loved ones, things of that nature. Going down the path, taking trips. Or this is Scorpio energy here. You know what I'm saying? This is Scorpio energy, and it's talking about journeying. This is the summertime, you know what I'm saying? So it's talking about the 6th house. First of all, it's talking about duties and responsibilities and things of that nature with the 6. But the 6 of Hearts talks about our loved ones and the path and the plan. This is a card of lovers, of our family. And this talks about taking trips and, making progress. It's all about, 6 is about things growing and bonding, with people, bonding with our family members, bonding with our loved ones, taking pleasant trips, vacations and things of that nature. Moving past these things, moving past sorrow, putting forth the action and energy it takes to get past these small problems, these small aggravations. And, with the clubs going into the hearts now, this is like a happy outcome and developing emotions. When we start putting forth that necessary energy it takes to get past these problems. See, in the 6 of Hearts, it speaks about union. It speaks about love. You know what I'm saying? It speaks about family. It speaks about karma. It speaks about the past. Letting things go from the past. Letting things go that don't serve us anymore. You know what I'm saying? 6 of Hearts energy. That's Scorpio energy. And it's all about moving on and transforming that negative into a positive. You see how 3 plus 3 is 6? It's talking about taking these negatives, working through your problems, and turning it into something beautiful. Turning something that could have been ugly, something that wasn't serving us, into something wonderful. Change your plans, change your paths. Get on our journey. It's about, 6 talks about, counseling, things of that nature. Maybe our family members might have some good advice. It's not good to isolate ourselves. Some of us might be even isolating ourselves, find ourselves blocked, And it's not about, like I said, it's not about putting all your energy out there. It's not about putting everything out there that you're going through right now. But just the things that's necessary that you need to speak out and put out there, you do that. And it's good to have discretion. Some people might be a little bit more nosy, maybe in your business and everything, but you just give them what they need to know at the time, and then when you're comfortable with sharing more, then you do so, but only as you feel necessary to do. The Queen of Clubs energy. Queen of Clubs is talking about business. It's all about handling business, and with the hearts going, into the clubs, you're talking about creativity and service. You know what I'm saying, and a little bit of luck. And a little bit of luck, you know what I'm saying? But being more creative, you know what I'm saying? Being of service to our family members, And the Queen of Clubs speaks about, a good friend, you know what I'm saying? Colleague, boss, a trusted friend, somebody you can talk to, somebody you can confide in, You know what I'm saying? This is Aquarius energy with this fixed energy right here. You know, the Queen of Clubs, she's the very boss, very active, sporty. You know, very intelligent. Very intelligent lady, very talkative, you know what I'm saying? But this is Uranus. You know, this is Uranus energy. And, you know, when you got Uranus energy, you know, Uranus talks about the need for freedom and the need to break through things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you're dealing with Uranus, you're talking about originality, freedom. You know, Uranus symbolizes, you know, awakenings, you know, psychological breakthroughs, you know, a call to be liberated. It reflects where we feel we can break free from outdated things. You know, we have to learn how to embrace authenticity. You know, psychologically, you know, Uranus challenges the status quo, you know, within us. It sparks insight, innovation, and change. You know, this is a challenging energy. You know, you can't stay in that same energy. You can't stay in that same negative energy. You know, and the Queen of Clubs is Aquarius energy, and this represents very powerful woman, a friend, good friends. This is the boss. You know, Queen of Clubs is the boss. You know, she's a businesswoman, superior at work. And the truth is, it's going to take a little work. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a little work. You know what I'm saying? And not be afraid to work to uncover, get to the places that you want to go. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to work and put forth the effort, you will get where you want to go. You know. Pardon me. I'm just checking on my notes in this situation. You know, and it's about having confidence and being confident in your endeavors, showing confidence and strength. You know. Let's get into it. Three of Hearts. See, threes. Now again, threes. Things are growing. You know what I'm saying? And with that, you know what I'm saying, this energy is growing. Things are growing even more. You know, threes talk about things growing and talk about collaborating. And now with the clubs, you know, club energy, you know what I'm saying, going into the hearts, it's talking about a happy outcome. You know what I'm saying? Developing emotions, you know, happy outcomes, developing emotions. You know, things are growing. You know, things are starting to grow. You know, it's a time, you might feel like it's a time for celebration, you know, as you push through these things. You know what I'm saying? And collaborating. You know what I'm saying? It's a time to celebrate. It's a time to party. You know what I'm saying? And let loose with this Scorpio energy. Once you start building up where you need to be, you know, like I said, threes represent things growing. You know, but this is all about, you know, relationships. You know, building bonds. You know, building trust. Talking to the right ones, talking to the right people, and it's all talk about, you know, beautiful, you know what I'm saying, situations, you know what I'm saying, parties, you know, but also talks about, you know, children. Some of us might have maybe you know, sometime of summer vacation and maybe doing something with our children, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to put, you know, some of us want to put more time and effort into our children. I can see the 6 + 3, this 9 here, you know, Scorpio energy, you know what I'm saying? Our wishes and our desires, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is about maybe us wanting to put more time and energy and things within our children. You know what I'm saying? You can see the threes coming about, you know, and doing things within our neighborhood, doing things with our siblings, our close family members, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Our friends, you know, people that, you know, our day ones, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, you know, going, you know, outside of our comfort zone, but you know what I'm saying, staying within our neighborhood. But this is all about, you know, awareness. You know what I'm saying, and being aware on a higher plane. You know what I'm saying? This is about, you know, religion or mystical experiences, things of that nature. You know, with these three threes. You know, and but it's all about, again, you know, collaborating and building and trusting and letting things grow, you know, letting this energy grow. Eight of Clubs, the Gemini energy, you know, and what it's talking about, it's talking about building, letting these things grow. And then once these things start growing, once you get out this negative energy, you know, this Eight of Clubs talks about, you know, building yourself up through repetition rapidly, you know what I'm saying? Your comfort is achieved through repetition, rapidly getting into motion, what I mean, swift movements to create stability, you know. With this waning moon in Taurus, this is all about stability, and finding our place where we can be stable. And the way we're going to achieve stability is about, repetition. Stand reputable, stand repetitious, swift movements creating the repetition that we need. It's creating the stability that we need, you know. And this is talking about the groups, the business that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at work, maybe some of us have to get things at work. Something about something else, getting things together at work. You know what I'm saying? Building up relationships at work. You know, this talks about communication with people, but this is all about, careers and goals. Some of us might be celebrating the fact that we have new careers or new goals that might be coming into fruition for somebody, you know what I'm saying? But it also talks about meetings, having business meetings or making practical plans, you know what I'm saying? Plans for the future. Some of us have plans for the future, you know what I'm saying? Plans to go out, plans to vacate, plans to do things with our children, you know. And with this young, vibrant energy, this Jack of Clubs energy, the message is about business. And when you stepping out there, and you're stepping out there on business, and you're stepping out there on faith, you know what I'm saying? Jacks is the Jack of Clubs is very active, and very, it's trying to be healthy, and you go with your hands and be crafty. You know what I'm saying? It's about working. You know what I'm saying? Really working and building your future, building what you want, taking control of your actions, And with this Gemini energy, Jack of Clubs, Mercury, Mercury is talking about communication, you know, it's talking about ideas and thoughts and things of that nature. But, it's all about being enthusiastic. And when you're pursuing something new, when you're on a new adventure, it's about being enthusiastic. You know what I'm saying? Getting past these things, getting past this energy, this sad energy, this energy that's keeping us down, this energy that's keeping us in a form of lack, and understand, and actively working through our problems, and being a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And understanding and coming together as a family. You know what I'm saying? And it's about our wishes and our desires, things that we want, our hopes, our dreams for our children. It's very trying times out here, but it's important to face these things, with strength and confidence and not walk in fear. You know, King of Spades energy, Capricorn energy, you know, and here we go. Capricorn, this is the authority figure, you know what I'm saying? Capricorn as well, because Capricorn, and there's a lot, because right now there's a man in power right now, and we have very powerful adversaries right now. You know what I'm saying? This is opposition to anything we're trying to do. We definitely have opposition out here. This King of Spades been coming up. You know what I'm saying? And we have opposition at work. We got opposition against our family. We just have opposition, period. You know what I'm saying? And we have people, who was in power, you know what I'm saying, who think they have power over us. But see, the thing about it is their power is waning now. Just like this waning moon, just like this moon is losing power, is losing its brightness. This Capricorn energy, this Saturn energy, this power, that these once individuals were very powerful, and they wielded a lot of power over us. But it's like their power is waning now. You know what I'm saying? Their power is waning, and that's why we need to have strength. And this is the third party interfering in our affairs, interfering in our relationships, interfering with our children, interfering with our business, interfering every which way they can to keep us frustrated, and to keep us with a spirit of fear and things of that nature. But it's like this. But it's about using our wisdom. Where's our experience, and why do we have wisdom? Because we've been through so much, and now it's time for us to draw on those experiences, draw on these things, draw on our experiences. You know what I'm saying? Because this Capricorn energy, this King of Spades energy, this is about blocks. Problems at work. You know what I'm saying? increasing difficulties, problems at work, problems with our business, things of that nature. This is what they try to bring the problems in. Problems with our pay, problems with our finances, things like that, you know. But just like I said, this waning moon in Taurus, I'm saying, this earth energy, this Capricorn, this King of Spades energy is waning right now. And so there's no longer there's no need to be fearful. No longer to be fearful. It's a time to be strong and show solidarity. If anything, it's a time to be strong and show solidarity. See? Queen of Hearts energy, that great divine mother. Understanding this is all about healing. And understand we have to heal ourselves. It's time to heal ourselves. This Queen of Hearts energy, this Scorpio energy. See how this Scorpio energy is very strong. It's about revealing what needs to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for a new moon in Scorpio. It's time to go deeper. You know what I'm saying? That Scorpio energy, that Queen of Hearts energy. That very protective energy. The Queen of Hearts is the great divine mother. Is our mothers, our aunts, our loved ones. This lady has our best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? Always has our best interests at heart. She loves us. You know what I'm saying? And this is the truth in general. This is the truth in general, that we supremely guided and protected. Supremely guided, and protected, And this is all about the responsibility that we have to ourselves, to nature, And it's about growth, and it's about being fertile, where all these energies are trying to stop us and trying to restrict us, and and try to block us with false reports and all these things on the news or media, to get us to shake our confidence. It's time to show strength and solidarity and build, and with repetition rapidly. It's time to collaborate and grow. We have all the tools that we need. You see the three of hearts in the middle. It's about coming together. Three things. It's about coming together. Three threes. It's about having knowledge on a high, understanding who you are on a higher spiritual plane. Understanding the power that you really hold. Understanding who you really are. So there's no need for you to be afraid. There's no need for you to be fearful. These folks out here that's claiming to be so powerful and wielding so much influence, they're weak. They're weak right now. And their time is falling short. And this is about, like I said, having a knowledge on a higher plane. Understanding who we are, through spiritual awareness. Through spiritual awareness, and understand how these people work, and with the Scorpio energy, with this Pluto energy, and what it says, it's time to go deep with this new moon in Scorpio, Let's look at that again. That new moon in Scorpio. Go deeper. We are regaining control. Look, we are regaining control of a situation that cut deep. This King of Spades, this Capricorn energy, this very dominant, powerful entity, our very powerful adversary, our opposition was very powerful. But now we are regaining control. We are regaining the upper hand. We've moved through our fears, and we can now see where the issue has come from. Now isn't the time to gloss over the facts. Rather, it's time for you to face the darkest concerns. We got to face this. We got to now. It's not time to run now. When you see him, he thought at one time he used to see these dark figures. We used to run. We didn't understand them. But you understand who we are, the power that we wield now. And then you have to turn and you have to face them. Face your darkest concerns and go deeper. Your situation needs to crumble. Certain things need to fall. Certain things need to end so something new can begin. It's time to call magic. It's time to call our spirituality. It's time to call all of our powers, everything that we were sent here to do. It's time to call. It's time to call on that. Call on the universe. Call on our Heavenly Father. Call on the Great Divine Mother. Call on our divine beloved ancestors. Call on the powers of the universe. It's time to remember It's time to wake up and remember who we are. You know, it is crucial to stay strong now. It is crucial to stay strong now with collaboration. What it says, go deeper, right? Look, it is time, it is a blessed time to work with someone on joint ventures. It's time to release his grudges. You see, it's time to put those old things away. It's time to put those old hurts away. It's time to put those old pasts away, and now to build with each other, grow with each other. And we have to come together. We have to collaborate and celebrate and become strong and start building our fence up, building our hedges up. Build and achieving our stability through repetition. You know what I'm saying? Working together with confidence and strength, and understanding who we are, the power that we will now, understanding that we are in control of that, you know? See, this Ace of Spades, this Capricorn energy, trying to block us. This Ace of Spades energy, but see, what aces represent? Aces represent new endeavors, newness. But what does the Ace of Spades, this Capricorn energy? Capricorn, first of all, Capricorn is trying to slow us down. Capricorn is all about restriction. This King of Spades energy is about restriction. This Ace of Spades energy is all about restriction, trying to restrict us. But see, what the Ace of Spades teaches us is that something has to come to an end. Something has to come to an end. These old systems, these old things have to crumble. Something has to come to an end. And why do we have to come to an end? So something new can start. We got to put down these old feuds, these old grudges. It's time for us to rebuild our family. This is an ending. It's time to end all these old beefs, all these old grudges. It's time to end these things. And why? Because this is going to lead to our new beginning. These endings are going to lead to our new beginning. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand that these changes are going to take decisions, wise decisions to be made. Wise decisions have to be made, because this Saturn energy, this Capricorn energy, Saturn reflects principles of maturity, structure, we got to take responsibility for our actions, and this is a test. And this is associated with these big tests that we've been going through. We've all been tested. Saturn tests us. We've all been tested to see if we are ready to, if we approve to move on to the next level, Saturn, reveals where we are called to build our inner strength, self-discipline, and where we are to be resilient. It may bring restriction or hardship, but psychologically it teaches us about boundaries, commitment, and the rewards of perseverance. And at its best, Saturn is the wise inner mentor guiding us toward lasting integrity. You know what I'm saying? Through wisdom and through knowledge. Through wisdom, through knowledge, through the things that we have been through, through our experience. And now it's time to flex our authority in this situation. It's time for us to rise and shine in this situation. Time to build and collaborate. Time to let old grudges go. Call our folks and understand that we have bigger things to do. It's later for all this old pettiness. We got to move past these sorrows. We got to move past these things that don't serve us. Four spades energy on the board, And this is about the cycle, creation. This is about destruction and renewal, rebirth. We got to really put something down and start something new. Something has to end so we can have the cycle of creation can begin, so we can have a renewed existence, a rebirth. You know what I'm saying? So we have a rebirth, and we got to start this journey, with enthusiasm and confidence, and be strong in our nature. It's time to go deeper. Let your fears dissolve. Reveal what needs to be seen. And understand this. I'm going to end the reading with the quote from the back. One man with courage makes a majority. It only takes one. One man with courage makes a majority. Thank you guys for coming to the reading. I hope you really enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. And once again, I'd like to give thanks and gratitude to the great Divine Mother. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, vast abundant universe. Thank you, divine beloved ancestors. Please, if you guys like the reading, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to content. Like I always say, if it resonates, let it marinate. If it don't apply, let it fly. If you guys would like a personal reading, get with your boy Pisces, Omega 2300. Get into the comments, build the community. And like I always tell you, man, I love you and peace.